Good to see you today. Another short week here, getting used to this, but we had a really crisp mental practice this morning, trying to keep our guys fresh. Put to rest the Louisville game yesterday that looked probably better on tape than maybe saw in the second half at least. Our kids played hard, played with great effort, and it seems like our kids continue to execute better week in and week out. So if we can continue to get the great execution going into Friday, be excited. So open up for questions.
You said it looked better on tape than it looked in the second half. Can you maybe elaborate on that a little bit? What specifically?
I think maybe Louisville did some things different, Sam, that you give them credit for, and they made some plays, and when you look at it, you're just hair away from making some other huge plays on offense. So there's a little bit of both, but you'd obviously like to always execute to perfection, which never happens. But when you look at it, it's the tape looked pretty good. But again, Louisville's a good football team. So moving on to the next game.
What kind of special challenges does Miami present?
Every team has challenges for you. Miami's got great speed, great talent. I mean, across the board, you watch them. We've recruited a lot of them through the years. They're talented from the front end to the back end. I mean, their offensive line's athletic. They got guys in the backfield that can make you miss. They got receivers that can run by you. So, they got a great passing game. And Coach Coley likes to throw the ball, it looks like, a little bit. And, defensively, Coach D'Onofrio's, working out of the 3-4, very similar front that we saw this week. So it's really a good carryover for our offense, going from, a 3-4 to a 3-4 and some similar stuff. But, they're athletic at linebacker, they're big and physical, and they can run in the secondary. So it'll be a challenge. We're going to have to focus on what we need to do and execute.
From a mentality standpoint, is there anything different when you're preparing for a team with an interim head coach?
I haven't thought about it. This is like my first match against an interim head coach, I think. Is it, EJ? I don't think there's anything, different. It's our guys got to go out and play the game of football. I don't know if it matters. The interesting thing about us coaches is we never get to make one play. We just stand on the sideline with our arms crossed most of the time and sometimes yell a little bit. But, the players play the game and we just get to coach it. So I don't know if the interim coach or the head coach has anything to do with it.
You mentioned that, though, but I think Juan told us, I guess, after the game Saturday that you were crazy and that you sort of called the game aggressively and the team sort of feeds off that. I mean, so you said
first of all, I haven't called any plays, so I don't know if I call the game. Juan, he's just in a world of 5 techniques and 9 techniques, but Juan's beautiful. I wasn't really crazy either. Maybe they thought I was crazy because I said, this game, isn't over, but maybe, I don't know. That's interesting.
So is it, you guys aren't making the plays, but you're calling the plays. How important is that? And I'm sure that Jim and Coach Conley, it's a trickle down, an aggressive mindset, and I'm sure.
I think we're going to be aggressive. We talk about, what kind of game type we are going into every week. Is it conservative? Are we gambling? What do we need to do? What's our mentality going into a game? And I'm a gambler. Period. I mean, I'd like to play to win, and not. As I think I mentioned after the game, I mean, we're going to be aggressive. Coach Conklin's calling a lot of pressures. Coach Chaney's calling different runs and different passes, and we're going to take shots down the field at times. I think we've taken more shots, later in the season as we have, early in the season. But, the big thing is we're getting our run game going like I think everybody'd like to see in the city of Pittsburgh. But, we're playing to win.
Have you stuck to your defensive principles most of the season? Don't always get cornerbacks a lot of help. I think you made a little bit more help on Saturday.
Say that again? We stick to our principles every week, yes. And we haven't veered off from it. Did you think we gave our guys more help?
But the safeties will maybe lean a little bit.
No, I don't think. No, we played it the same as we normally do. Again, we're going to tweak it every week a little bit based on what they do, how they do it, and who they are as an offense or a defense. So, you could ask our kids afterwards, hey, how much does the defense change weekly? They would say it doesn't. And, There's little tweaks here and there, but they all know what they are. It's just a matter which tools are you using, you know? If you need your, Phillips head, you use a Phillips head. If you need a flat head, you use it. But, you don't want to go on the job with just one screwdriver in your toolbox, right? If you do, you got a problem.
You're a gambler by nature. Are you a gambler as a coach too?
No, I'm not a gambler by nature. I don't gamble at all. I hate to gamble. That's why I'm a gambler as a coach. I mean, I think you want to go out there and be aggressive, but I don't gamble at all off the field at all. I'm not a gambler at all. I hate to do that. I'd rather go eat.
So you're not going to be in our Final Four pool then when, you guys are?
No.
Would have told you, I guess, before the season that you'd lose James for the year, you'd still have a 1,000-yard rusher. Would that have been surprising, I guess? What is it?
Yeah, because, we're going to be a team that's going to have, we're going to run the football. We're going to find a way to get it done. And, I think anytime you put your mind to something, you can get that done. And it doesn't surprise me at all. I didn't know we'd get it done before the end of the season. I thought maybe it'd take us 12 games. I was kind of shocked, looking at that, knowing that we're playing one of the top run defenses in the country last week. So I thought we'd maybe get it maybe halftime of this game. So that's about the only thing I was surprised about. But here at Pittsburgh, we're going to be able to run the football. We're going to be able to stop the run. And if we can't do those two things, then we got problems. But and that's what I love about Coach Chaney is he's going to continue to pound that football, and that's how you win football games.
Your offensive line is one unit that really hasn't changed as far as the starters go from game 2 all the way through.
Right.
How helpful has that been to get the running game going, have that cohesive line like that?
It's to have that continuity up front is huge. I still think we got very 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 good football player with Alex Buxer sitting on the sideline watching those guys, but we stayed healthy for the most part. Shoot, I think a couple weeks ago Dorian kind of limped off with a little bit of maybe an ankle or something like that, and he comes right back. So we stayed healthy. But that next group of guys are ready to go if they need to. And it really helps when those guys are making calls and talking to each other and they know who they're lining up next to. You sit next to Jerry every week. It's nice to know, what you're getting out of him. And I think it's the same thing on the field. I mean, it's nice to know that you're, what that guy does for you or doesn't do for you. If he's not going to give it to you, you got to get it from someplace else. So, continuity is important not only on the offensive line but really everywhere. It's that linebacker knowing that safety is going to give him the call. The corner knows that, hey, that safety is going to give him the call. You get a new safety in there, who's going to give me the call? Is he good? Does he say it louder? Does he say it too late? Is he too early? What is it? So, any time you're in a team game, there's communication that's incredibly important. And if you don't have it, or you don't have continuity, you got problems.
If several seniors come play their last home game on Friday, what does this senior class mean to you as a first-year head coach?
You know what? They're all your children. It doesn't matter if they're been with you 1 year. We spend so much time together as coaches that you love these guys, and it doesn't matter 1 year. I mean, I'll be talking to these guys forever because they were my first class. It's almost a special group because it is the senior class, and it's it's senior day for them, and it'll be an emotional day with their families and before the kickoff. They're my guys because they're they embraced me when I came and walked in this room. It was a little different looking room here as a head football coach, and they haven't looked back, and they bought in to what we're doing. That's important to me.
When you went back and watched the tape of the offense in the second quarter on Saturday, I mean, was that like the best case? Is that sort of what you envisioned for this offense?
Yeah, I mean, but it goes in spurts, Sammy. I mean, it's not like you're playing video games.
You can replicate that second quarter across the season. That's
yeah. Yeah, of course you are. I mean, and I'll take that Maddox interception for a TD too to add on to it. We'll take offense any way we can get it, but of course when you play like that and you really take that into the second half of Duke, and then match that with the first half of last week. I mean, there was an offensive explosion there really. When you take that anytime you can get it, and you like to have it every week and every quarter, every minute, but it's not realistic.
Most great athletes are self-motivated. What can a coach do to help a guy and team's focus, especially when the championship is going, you can't win?
What can a coach do? I mean, just talk about the things that are important. Don't talk about things you can't control, and that's what we do. And just focus on the things that we need to do to win the game. And you stay positive with it. I mean, I think our kids are. I don't think they have looked back. I mean, I think they're looking at it. Hey, we shot for here, but maybe we got here. Okay, we're trying to get there, and just motivate them with what you have.
Broke back out a little bit this week after some quiet games, at least by his standards receiving. Was that something you guys wanted to put an emphasis on?
Every week is emphasis to get number 23 the football. So it wasn't something we were trying to put it back on. And again, it's just a matter of is he catching it or carrying it. So you say he broke out because he only had 3 catches maybe the last couple of weeks, but I don't even know how many catches he had. How many catches did he have last week? Yeah. He had 11? Really? Another double digit? I didn't even know that. Didn't even look like it. I was more impressed, with Tyler Boyd carrying the ball. He had some tough carries in there where he put his head down and got some tough yards, which he doesn't always do. But I think he's getting even more comfortable running the football as well as, catching balls down the field. So he had 11 catches. Should be the receiver of the week here, 11 catches again. Golly. But again, I don't look at that stats. I mean, the final score is good enough, but that's, that was not a focus. But it's something we want to do every week. So I can't say this week we said don't get it to Tyler. But sometimes it's also Tyler doing exactly what he's supposed to do to get open too. But we always want to get Tyler the ball. If we can get him 11 every week in through the air and another 6 or 7 rushing it through the backfield, we're not very smart if we don't try to.
Back to Connor Gentino getting in the game of the goal line package there.
He's been in it for like the last 4 weeks or something like that, right? No, even short yardage. Connor's been getting in a lot, and he's been doing a heck of a job. I mean, we've changed his number maybe for the last 4 weeks. It had to be 4 or 5 weeks that we put him in there. He's fun to watch. I mean, that guy, he's a load, and he can throw he can throw his body up in there. I mean, he's done a great job. He's pounded some people inside and created some great holes for Olsen to run through. So actually on that 3rd down and 1 at the goal line at the end of the game, if Olsen would just trust him, as you watch the tape, Connor was in the end zone, and we just want Olsen to follow him in the end zone and land right on top of Connor, but he didn't. But he's done a nice job for us in that part of the game, and that's his role, and he's done a great job with it.
Anticipate him, doing that going forward, or staying on defense, or something?
Probably a little bit of both. I mean, he's been able to do both, and he's very smart. The first thing when I put a defensive guy on offense, first thing I think is they're going to jump off sides. They're not used to a cadence. They'll be looking for that ball moving instead of on the hike, or if it's on 2 or 3. So that's the first thing that scares you. But he's really smart, and he gets on the right guys. So it'll continue to go.
How do you look at the decision that Tyler's got coming up in a couple of weeks or months? Do you view that as a recruiting job to try and get him back at Pitt next year?
No, not at all. I mean, never going to recruit a guy to stay. The first thing we're going to do is focus on the team we got to play this weekend in Miami, and then move on there and find out where our destination is after that. But we haven't had one word about it. He's been focused, and that's what he needs to be. You should be focused too, okay, on really what's important. But there's no talking into it. It's a matter of doing what's best for him and his family, and that's something that you don't know until the end of the game. He goes out next week and drops 5 balls, and they say you ain't going to be a first rounder. That's a decision he's got to make.
Pat, where did that gambling mentality come from? Was that just a aggressive mindset? I won't use gambling.
Just aggressive. You want to go after people. I don't want to sit back and wait for them to come after me and catch everything. I want to throw too. I want to throw some punches. I mean, you don't want to just dance around the ring. I don't know. Just personality, I guess. I mean, it's being competitive. I think, and our kids, take on that as well. We compete in everything we do, on the field, and so it's just being a competitor and going after someone's weaknesses.
The mindset of being, putting those, not just messing with Sam or Jerry or us by putting those oars on the depth chart, but by sort of keeping that edge. I mean, is it
keeping the edge for the kids maybe more than anything? There's competition. Yeah, there's competition out there. We compete every day in practice, and we go through 7-on-7. I turned over to Eric Thatcher today and said, "What's the score right now?" And someone was beating someone pretty bad. But there was no pass rush, Daryl. But someone was getting somebody, and then I'm going over, saying, what are you guys doing today? Can you get open, or can you stop somebody? So it's anytime we get to go ones-on-ones, we compete.
How is Juan able to have a game like that? And what have you noticed from there this year? What kind of key is he
No, Juan keeps getting better and better. And I've said this a long time ago. You know, I'd wonder what happened if he played that second half of Iowa. He got a little dinged up. I don't know what it was, an ankle or whatever it was so long ago. But he can rush the passer. He can stop the run. He's got a motor. He's fast. He's not the tallest guy in the world, but he can move, and he's not easy to block. And he's just got. I think he's got confidence, number one. And I don't know how many sacks he's got, but he's got a bunch. He's probably up there in the country, and it wasn't just off of one game. But he's been active, and he just continues to move those feet and continue to go towards the quarterback.
11.5. He's fourth nationally, by the way. This is an opportunity to announce he's the ACC Defensive Lineman of the Week.
Stat guy over there. It's my stat guy. So I mean, he's impressive, and I knew that when I got here. I was like, wow, that guy can go. And the great thing is he stayed healthy all year too, which was really what we need to do.
I was wondering, have you been able to reach out to Scott Schaefer at all this morning?
I made a phone call to him, and when I heard the news when I got off the field, just to see if he needed anything. But tough profession, and he's a heck of a football coach. He's a better husband and father, and he will he'll land on his feet. I guarantee you. He's a great football coach.
Pat, what's your feeling on the relative instability of guys in your profession?
Never thought about it. Never thought about it. I mean, it's just you coach for your life every day, and that's what you're doing. You talk about being competitive. I mean, it's the world you live in, but there's not much security there.
Do you talk to any of your guys at State, by the way?
Yeah. Yep.
Take some owner. I mean, I know your job is here, your focus is here, but you brought a lot of those guys over there. You take.
Well, I know all those kids over there, and after the game, Coach D'Antonio talked, just about weekly or text weekly. I talked to him after the game. I mean, just to congratulate him, and he didn't have any love lost for Louisville either. So it's a kind of we're both following each other, but happy for all those kids and what they do over there.
Going back to Juan for a second, I know some guys around the country are starting to hear about those 6 years of eligibility. Have you heard anything on him, or?
No, you can't even apply for it until after the season's over. So we got to wait till after the bowl game is over to put in our paperwork to get that done. But I might hand deliver that to the NCAA. I might take a walk to wherever they are.
You have KK listed over Tyreek and Shakir as an award defensive end. What have those guys shown you in their playing time?
Who's that? I'm sorry.
KK, Mosley Smith, and Shakir Soder.
Yeah, I haven't seen the latest depth chart. You guys throw some mores in there or what? But really, KK started last week, and I must have been a typo or I messed something up last week. But KK was a starter last week, and actually had a great game. But you're talking mainly about the D tackles. Those guys have all done a great job in there. Daryl Render, who's you get a chance to talk to, as well, sitting back there. But Daryl's played well, and KK really had a great game last week. Tyreek's back 100%, and got back last week. Didn't get a lot of reps, but really made some plays when he was in there. So we know he's back where he needs to be, and we'll need him this week. Lenny and Moody have done a great job as well. Who am I missing?
And then Shakir Soder.
Shakir Soder didn't get a ton of reps last week. Rory's been playing good, but came in and got a few snaps. Shakir's been playing great, and we're just going to keep getting him bigger and faster.
Did Rory get hurt?
Rory tweaked a little ankle, but he was ready to roll.
Anything final?
What about the latest on the other corner?
No. Happy Thanksgiving.